Good evening, everyone. Respected Sanjeev sir, respected director sir, eminent professors, and my dear friends. With great privilege and honor, I welcome you all to the inaugural address of How to Start a Startup. It all started when some of us friends, Srijan, Samyak, Harpreet, and I were sitting in a dorm room discussing about various startup ideas on how to take it forward, what to do, what not to do, and various problems associated with it. And then came the eureka moment. Why not ask the masters themselves? We were facing a problem, and we realized a lot of people face the same problem. So why not address the larger audience? Why not help out everyone? That was the day when How to Start a Startup began. That was the day when How to Start a Startup was born. We combined this novel idea with our audacious ambition of teaching, inspiring, and reaching out to millions of budding entrepreneurs across the globe. Talking about the concept, we divided the entire life cycle of a startup into 10 parts. 10 parts, 10 visionaries, over 10 weeks. The end result, learnings of a lifetime. Thank you. I'd now like to invite Sanjeev sir, director sir, and professors to please light the lamp and start the proceedings.
Hello. Hello.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I request Director Sir to kindly open the series.
Many years ago, I participated in a competition. I've even forgotten its name. We had to speak for 2 minutes continuously without a pause. There's a game that you do, and if you pause in between, then somebody stops you and another competitor gets it. And I was very good at it. There was one session I remember very well. It was called Can a can. And today when I came to the start of how to start a startup, I thought I was back in the world of can a can. But, looking at the audience here and meeting my dear friend Sanjeev here, I realize this may be the start of just an extraordinary adventure. And I'm so thrilled and delighted that in true entrepreneurial tradition, the start of this idea of the start of how to start a startup came from some startup-oriented, entrepreneurially minded students here. So I want to first congratulate all of you for coming up with this idea. But as you saw the 10 steps of startups, I will also attend the 10th session. So you have to make sure the startup fructifies into something really that you can be proud of and the Institute is proud of as well. And I couldn't be happier than to have Sanjeev join us here. He has always been an entrepreneur of mind and ideas. I remember within the first, I think it was less than a month after I had joined as director, Professor Arvind Sahay, who was Dean Alumni and External Relations, he said, Ashish, we have to meet Sanjeev because he has some very important messages for you. And when Arvind says something like that, I listen. So we went to Delhi, and I remember, I don't know if Sanjeev, you remember or not, we met in a restaurant. And he sits down with me and he says, Prof, your admissions process is all wrong. And there started a very, very productive conversation, which has actually, I think, in some ways, it is challenges like this that really make us think about established mores and challenge them and try to see how to make things evolve and change. And Sanjeev has a lot to contribute, actually, to our thinking about how we ought to admit leaders of enterprises. And so thank you very much for that. I remember his second sentence after that. He said, and Prof, do you know, 1989 batch, we were all admission mistakes. And as a result, we have some of the highest percentage of entrepreneurs of any batch ever. And then he reeled off a bunch of names of very well-known entrepreneurs. Arvind is also 1989 batch. So on first knowledge of people, I can actually attest they were probably admission mistakes. They're all crazy, but crazy and wonderful. And so, Sanjeev, I am delighted to hear you. I had the great pleasure, I think a year after that, or maybe it was 2 years, a year after that, of being in the audience in Hyderabad, where our Hyderabad alumni chapter organizes one talk by one alumnus or faculty member on a topic of general interest, social interest. I must say I was mesmerized by, again, the talk that Sanjeev gave there, and it was on entrepreneurship. So I'm very much looking forward to what you have to say here. I can assure you that it's going to be very, very, mind-expanding and provocative. Okay. Just a couple of observations. I have now been out of IIMA as a student, since 83, so 30 plus years. My batch, when we graduated, I don't think anybody went straight to entrepreneurship. Those are not the times you thought about entrepreneurship coming out. There were less opportunities. Today, if I were to meet my friends at a reunion, I would say at least 50% of them would describe themselves as entrepreneurs. It strikes you at different times. So it strikes you, I'm reminded of one of our dear students, Ruby Ahmed, who started out as an HR manager in Precious Formals, HR manager in BHEL, got married, went to US and decided she wanted to start something and started Precious Formals, you know that. I think of Vivek Mundra, who 3-4 years after having started out in Kolkata said, I want to start my own equity research outfit, and just continues to do wonderful work. I think of some of my colleagues who left very good corporate careers and went into the social sector and were social entrepreneurs. And so I look at my own batch and I see more than 50% of people who describe themselves as entrepreneurs. And this was not a batch that self-described itself as entrepreneurial. And then I look at today's students and I look at rooms like this, filled rooms like this. And I think conversations with people like Sanjeev and others are really invaluable, because that spirit of entrepreneurship, which I think lies in many, many of us, burns very bright today. And there is no better way to have a sense of what the world of entrepreneurship is like and what are the challenges, pitfalls, and the joys of this than to hear it from the horse's mouths. So I could actually keep going on and on, but let me just pause here because I know every minute I take is a minute away from Sanjeev. So thank you very much. I really look forward to this session. I'll be attending it, Sanjeev, asking you tough questions.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'd like to invite Professor Arvind Sahay to speak about Sanjeev, sir.
Good evening. So Ashish has already introduced me as Sanjeev's batchmate, so let me start over there and see if I can dig up some stuff that one can share about Sanjeev with you. So I think one of my first memories about Sanjeev on the campus is us playing frisbee on the cricket grounds of IIM Ahmedabad in front of the 16, 17 and 18. And that's where we first made our acquaintanceship. The other thing that I remember about Sanjeev when he was on campus was that even when he was on campus at that time, 1989, he also had a fairly strong idea that he wanted to be an entrepreneur. He wanted to create something, and then he went on to create something. He joined a job with the then SmithKline Beecham, created InfoEdge, and then the rest, as they say, is history. We kept in touch off and on, but really we got reacquainted when I came back to the country. I was teaching at London Business School for quite a few years. And when I came back in 2004, at that time, Sanjeev came to know that that I was here back in the country, and he came to meet me. We met, and I have to say that he was one of the persons who made the re-entry process back into the country so much more smoother, so much more easier by helping me build connections with people. And I found that incredibly encouraging to find a batchmate and a friend help me to do that. And over the last 12 years, one of the things that I have also discovered about Sanjeev is that not only is he an incredible networker, but also he builds really deep and lasting relationships. He's wonderful at that. And manages those relationships in a very, very effective way over time. I know very few people who manage those two aspects as well. But that is not what makes him the entrepreneur that he has been. What makes him such an effective entrepreneur, I believe, is two things. One is a sense of curiosity that he has about things. Whenever you are talking to him, you can observe his mind working and coming out with insights on those things that he's talking about. He's all there with you at the time that he's there with you. And the other thing is that he has this knack for identifying customer insights, whether upfront, during the process, or as you're going into the process. And for those of us who want to be entrepreneurs, there are only two ways, in my mind, if you want to be an entrepreneur. Either you have to have very deep customer insights, which allow you to identify a product or a service that is going to help you build some scale, or you are a whiz at the other end, which is technology. You are at the cutting edge of technology and are then able to discover some uses for that technology. Ideally, of course, the two should come together, but the wonderful thing about what Sanjeev has managed to create is that if you think about it, his company is not built on technology. His company is built on customer insight. And the new ones that he has created, Zomato is another one that has got some scale, is also built on customer insight. So I want to thank Sanjeev for helping me in the journey to where I am today as a batchmate and a friend. He's also been very, very engaged with the institute. He has spent some time as an educator himself, by the way. He has been a professor, a visiting professor at various points of time in his career. And so more than many other entrepreneurs, he understands the process, the educational process, and is committed to the cause of education. Many of you would already know that he's one of the creators of one of the best liberal arts universities here in the country, Ashoka University. And we look forward to him also contributing to his alma mater in many more ways than he has already been. So thank you, Sanjeev, for coming over. I'd like to now hand over the mic to a person who has been both his teacher and mine, and maybe he can tell us a few words about Sanjeev as well. Professor Abhinandan Jain.
It's nice to see Sanjeev having good smile on his face. What I remember about him is very good sportsman, but serious. So something had changed over time, or maybe. The other thing I want to say is that whenever we have met, we were very, very warm, as Arvind mentioned. And in fact, I have gone to his home, excellent host, entertained me, showed me around, as well as his office. So quite some time back, I suppose. And his brother was there, and he looked far more jolly to me than him. He's still back in US? Yeah, okay. Ah, right, he was teaching then also, right. The third thing is, I disagree with the quote that you have put there. Sanjeev may think he's a misfit, and many others also. There used to be a course called Marketing 1. I don't think many people got a B in that course. So you may think you are a misfit, but maybe you are clever enough to adjust that misfitness as well and learn out of it. That's what would make an entrepreneur, I suppose. And what Arvind mentioned is the other part. It's learning for me from people like you, as well as people like Vora. Vora and Company, you remember? Right. If you don't know the customer, you can do nothing in your life. So all the best, keep doing it. I don't want to say more things because they enough known about you, and I'm sure you will talk about your journey. And his professorship was, by the way, incidental, right? Right. Because he didn't have any salary from his unit. So he's gone through some good pains. I'm sure he'll share those things with you. I don't want to come in between that. Thank you very much. Welcome, Sanjeev.
With a huge round of applause, star of the evening, Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani.